No, shh. Mm, okay. Can you paste the link here, Calita, too, in the community call chat? Because I think that normally the people comes here to see the updates. Okay. Well, I think that we can start now. Let me open. Let me open Safari. Well, I think that this will be better to share screen than the normal Discord call. So here we have the project and the bounties board. So these are the issues that we have open right now. Uh, we have to assign this. Probably Jeremy, you can take this task because the last week we reviewed these ones and there were ones that were assigned or some PR submitted. So we have to update this. But there are some new ones, like for example, Gate.io delay updating total balance. This is an issue that can be addressed in the connector base, I think, because it depends if the connector has real-time updates of the balances or not. For example, Gate.io. This is just an example because I reviewed the code already and I know how to fix it. But Gate.io is not sending the information of the balances every time that that you place an order or there is a change in your account. It's just sending the updates when you have a field, an order field. So when you want to know the available balance, the information was unupdated for this reason. So that's why we have to change the real-time updates from the connector to false. That is a parameter that you can find on the connectors. And now the available balance is calculated based on the last information about the balance plus the orders that you have placed and the trades that you execute from that timestamp. And that's how you can synchronize the available balance with the real thing that you are seeing on the exchange. The difference between this and the total balance is that in the total balance the logic is not coded. So that's the thing that you had to do. Well, there also we have issues with spot arbitrage perpetual, and this will be reviewing the strategy and check if the strategy is ready to use perpetuals with gateway. Then this is cosmetic. This is the position not working. This is the one that was solved by Memento that we reviewed last week. So Jeremy, if you can review the status of this, will be good. And this is, as we mentioned last week, this is also I think to make some research and check if there is something specific with Huobi that doesn't let you work on this. So well, this is like the update of the Bounties board. Now we are going to start the first live session with mini lessons. So for today, I prepared this mini lesson of perpetuals. The idea of the mini lessons is that the time doesn't exceed like 20 minutes or something like that. It's just like a short explanation of how this works. Obviously, we can extend if we have time, but the idea is to make a concrete explanation of some of the topics or the most important things that you have to know when you're trying to use or code a Perpetuals connector. So, well, let's get started. So first, can you hear me? Because my AirPods run out of battery. So let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Just one that in the community call chat says yes, I can hear you. Okay, thank you, TDC. So well, this is the mini lessons of today will be perpetuals. So we are going to start looking at the information that the perpetuals connector are managing, and based on that, we're going to talk about how Hummingbot manage that information. Then we're going to see some of the most common properties and methods that you can use when you are using a perpetuals connector. And lastly, I open a discussion and some things to talk about to finish this mini lesson. Some things that we can improve about the perpetuals connectors. So, well, when we are talking about of information and execute, we can divide the connector in execution and information. So, based on information, we have public data and account data. Let's talk about first the public data, that is the one that is available without API keys. The difference between the public and the account is that, or the private data, is that to access the private data, probably you will need to use your API keys to request that information. Normally, it's related to information about your balances, your orders, and all that stuff, because it's like private information. You cannot access it without credentials. And the public information is available for everyone that wants to send a request to know something, but sometimes there is some public endpoints that needs authentication too, and they are not public, they are private. But for example, if you want to request the historical traits of Binance, you have to provide the API keys to do that. So well, that is a public information, but you need the API keys. Well, let's start with the market public data. First of all, we have the symbols. And why this is important? Because when the connector starts, and at the beginning, you will see that right now, if you didn't update the version of Hummingbot to the latest development branch, you will see that there is an issue that says FTX cannot retrieve the trading pairs or something like that. That is because when Hummingbot starts, request all the symbols to all exchanges and updates the trading symbol map that is inside Hummingbot. That lets create a conversion between how Hummingbot names the trading pairs and how the exchanges do that. For example, Hummingbot always use base dash quote, and Binance can use base quote altogether or base slash quote, or different ways of doing this. But the thing is that this step is very important, because if you don't have a conversion between how Hummingbot names the trading pair and how the exchange do the same, when you want to make a request, you will have to put the trading pair as exchange is calling it, and that's very difficult because you have to remember all the different exchanges. So this is the only way that you can just use the same convention for calling the trading pairs, and then the connector will change that to how the exchange names the trading pair. So that's the first part, that is the symbols, and it's a thing that also the spot connectors has to do. Then we have the trading rules. This also is shared with the spot connectors, and there are some rules in exchange, like for example, if you want to send an order to buy, I don't know, 1 cent of Ethereum, you will probably have a message that will be, hey, this amount is very low, you cannot buy 0.1 cents of Ethereum, in dollars of Ethereum, because the minimum is $10, for example. Where there are certain trading rules, like for example, the precision of the decimals, the precision of the precision of decimals of the amount of the price. Then you have the minimum amount in base assets. For example, you cannot send an order lower than 0.0001 Ethereum. And then also you have the same, but in notional size, like, hey, you cannot send an order of lower than $10. Well, that's another thing that the connector has to know. Then we have the order book snapshots and diffs. This works because when you make the first request of the order book, you get the complete order book, and normally the exchanges send you then the diffs. It's like, instead of giving you the full information of the order book again, because it's very big, it is sending the information that, hey, in this price, I don't know, this quantity of tokens were removed, or in this price, this quantity of tokens were added. So then you have to update the order book in real time in your own bot. So that's one of the things that Hummingbot does, and that's why you have the order book, a local copy of the order book, and you can access it very easy with different methods to query it, or directly you can access the levels of the order book. So that's another thing that is shared with the spot connectors. Then we have the trades, also is shared. The last prices, that is a simple query via REST about the prices of the different markets. And then we have the only thing that is different from spot exchanges, that is the funding information. So, well, the funding information is probably one of the things, probably if you are familiar with trading and with Hummingbot, all the last things you already know that. But if you are not familiar with Perpetual's connector, let me talk about a little bit about the funding information. So when you are trading on Perpetuals, you are not directly buying the asset. You are like buying a contract that represents the variation. Like, for example, if I buy a long contract on Ethereum, I'm betting that Ethereum will go up. So the underlying asset, I never had the underlying asset in my wallet. I probably have USD or USDT or BUSD as collateral. So what is the collateral? The collateral is like the reserves that you have to do the operation, and they're like the reserves that you have, like, if to support your operation. That's probably the name, to support your operation, because then you also have leverage. And now we are going to talk about leverage a little bit, but it's like, for example, I have $100 and I want to open a long position in Ethereum, and I want to build a 10x leverage. So, well, in the market, I will be playing with $1,000 because I have 10x of leverage, but my collateral is only $100. That means that the only funds that I have available are $100, and if I am playing with 1,000 and the price goes down 10%, it will be $900. That means that the $100 that I have as collateral well burned here, so I will be liquidated. So that's how you can get liquidated easily in the perpetuals market if you use a lot of leverage, because if you are using 10%, 10x, if the price goes down 10% and the collateral is all the funds that you have, you will be liquidated. If you use 100x, and the price moves 1%, you will be liquidated too. So that's why you have to be careful with the leverage. But well, let's continue with the funding information. As we mentioned, we are not buying the asset; we are buying a contract to say, hey, this price, this will go up. And there are a lot of people doing the same thing. There are people saying this will go up, this will go down. And the thing is that the contract has to be made with a pair, because I cannot make a contract with anybody. So in order to balance the percentage of capital going long and going short, the users that are going long, probably suppose that the ratio is 60% is going long and 40% is going short. So to balance this equation, we need more people in the short side, or more capital in the short side. So what the funding rate will make that the users that are going long are going to pay a rate to the users that are going short, and it's a percentage of the positions that they have. So this is a way that the capital to balance the capitals between the two positions and make that the contracts try to go to 50%, the two of them. So for example, if you want to know which will be the next funding info, there are some endpoints in the market that will say, okay, the next funding will be paid in, I don't know, 3 hours, and the predicted rate is, I don't know, 0.02%. So with that information, you can add that logic to your trading strategy and check if you can add or remove some of the positions of the market, or well, do a custom thing about that to don't pay or to get paid the fund when the funding is executed. So that's what it's about, the funding information. The thing is that this is predicted because can change a little bit, and also this can be different between different exchanges, because for example, Binance can pays fundings every 8 hours, I think. And well, the last 3 weeks I was building the FTX connector, and FTX was paying the funding fees were paid every 1 hour. So it can change between different exchanges, and you have to know about that too. But Hummingbot has the information of the next funding, and it's available at every on-tick method, so you can access that information and check which is the next one and when it will be executed. So well, that's about the market public data. Then we have the account data, and we have here the balances. This is normally is the balance of the account. As I mentioned, the perpetuals works with collateral. So I will use this example again. In FTX, the collateral was the collateral of all the tokens that you have in your wallet. It shares the spot and perpetuals wallet. So for example, if you have BTC, ETH, USDT, or an LTC, you can use all the tokens as collateral, and the value of the collateral will be the price of the asset at that moment multiplied by the quantity of tokens that you have. So that's the thing that you have to support your operation in the perpetuals market. In Binance, you can select also different kinds of collaterals. I don't know the connector that is built right now, how it's working, because you have cross-magic or isolated. But well, we have to refactor that connector, so it will be a new one. Well, then you have the orders. The orders is the information about the orders, if it's placed on the market, it's a limit order, market order, the amount executed, all that stuff about the orders that you have to know. The trades This will be your private trades, not the public trades that we mentioned before. This is the trades executed by your account. And then we have the funding payments. The funding payments and the funding information that we mentioned before are the same. The difference is that the funding information that we have in the public data will be the next funding that will happen in the market, and the funding payments of your accounts are the funding payments that you already pay in the market. For example, as we mentioned, every 8 hours you will have to pay or receive some money from the funding payment, from the funding rate. So that thing that we are looking at in the account data is the information of your payment of the last funding rate that gets executed. So for example, and this is one of the things that we are going to discuss in the next in the next slides, because right now the only way that you can get the funding payments or do something with the funding payments is using an event. There is a special event in Hummingbot that when you receive the information of the funding payments, a new funding payment, it will trigger an event and give you the information of the events. Well, that's about the information that the connector has to know. So it's pretty similar to the spot connectors, but well, I think that it's easy. It's only just to use some new methods for other things, but it's easy. Well, in execution, what we have first of all set the position mode, because I will explain now the position modes. You have two position modes normally in exchanges. There is one way and hedge. The difference between them is that one way only lets you open a long position, for example, in one market, one kind of position at the same time in the market. You cannot have a long and a short position in Ethereum. For example, you can have just one. For example, you can have a long or a short. That's how there are some exchanges that only allows this way of execution. The other one is hedge mode. In hedge mode, you can have a short and a long in the same market. For example, Ethereum USDT. So that's how you can set the position mode. If you have any questions about this, let me know in the chat. But that's how it works. And the main difference is that in one, you can just have one type of position, or long or short. In the other one, you can have the two of them at the same time in the same market. Then we have another execution method that will let us set the leverage. This is important because depending on your risk, the risk that you want to take, you can select more or less leverage, and there is an endpoint to change the leverage and select the one that you want. Then you have, in this case, it's different from the spot connectors, because in spot connectors you just place orders. It's like, hey, I want to buy at this price, I want to sell at this price, or I want to go market and buy at this price, and so. But in this case, in the Perpetual connectors, as you can have position modes and you can have a long and a short at the same time, if you place an order, are you increasing the long position or are you reducing the short position? Okay, that's why we have to split these responsibilities, and we have another parameter when we are placing orders, that is the position action. So if the position action is open, the order will intend to increase the size of the position. If the position action is closed, the order will try to reduce the position that you have. I didn't mention this before because I hope that you know this, but it is not redundant. I can say it. So when another difference between the spot and the Perpetual connector, when we talk about that contract that you are betting that the price will go up and you are not buying the asset, is because you are buying a position. So when you get an execution in the market, in a spot connector, when you place an order, a limit order to buy, and that order gets executed, you get the tokens to your balance. In the perpetuals, that's not happening. You when your order gets executed, now instead of getting new tokens to your balance, you will have a position in the market, and that position is open until you close it or until you get liquidated because you don't have enough collateral to support your position. But that's a huge difference between the spot and the perpetuals market. So well, now let's check about the properties and methods that you can use from perpetuals connectors. So the properties, the difference between properties and methods, I wrote this with self just to don't confuse you that you can use this method as you want. This is just like you to use these methods, you have to use the instance of the connector that you want to use, that perpetuals connector that you want to use. And the difference between properties and methods, I can show you this in the code easily. But if, for example, if I go to perpetual derivative pi base, when a method has this is more like Python stuff. This is not like related to perpetuals and other stuff. But when you have this decorator here that says property, to call this method from another file, of when you are using an instance of this class, you don't have to place these brackets. So as you can see, to use the properties, you have to just write the name of the property because it's something that you can access this information about the class, so the instance of the class. So that's why, as you can see here, you don't have brackets, and here you have the brackets. So which are the most common properties that you can check is the funding fee poll interval is once this funding fee is executed, the position mode, if this is one way or hedge, the budget checker, that this will let you adjust an order candidate to your balance and check if you have enough balance to place the order or not. Then we have another one that is account positions. This is a dictionary. When you call this method, you will receive a dictionary where the key is the name of the trading pair and the value of the dictionary is the position. There is an object that is position. If you want to check the object position, you can go here and write position, and you will see the properties that the position has, like trading pair, position side, unrealized P&L, entry price, amount, well, all that stuff. You can know, you can check the information about the position here. So this is one of the most important properties that probably you are going to use to check the positions that you have open in that exchange. Then you have the trading pairs. This is the trading pairs that the connector is using. The order books, here you can access the order books of that connector. Then the in-flight orders and the limit orders. So, well, this is the information that you have here in properties. And which are the methods now that you can use, or the method that you are going to most use when you are calling a strategy with a perpetuals connector? Here you have the set position mode. This is to change, for example, from hedge to one way or vice versa. If you don't have the position mode available, this will raise an error. Then you have to get the leverage. This is similar. This will retrieve the leverage that you have already set it up in your connector. Then you can set the leverage. This set leverage is a level trading pair and leverage. Some exchanges doesn't allow to set the leverage specific for a trading pair. So this will be different in case of the exchange. Then you have get funding info for a specific trading pair. In this case, get the funding info will retrieve the next funding rate, and you will have information about the index, the mark price, when the funding rate will happen, and which is the predicted rate that we have. Then we have the get order book. This will give you the object order book for a specific trading pair. And then we have these three methods that are buy, sell, and cancel. As I mentioned before, when you are buying or selling in a perpetuals market, you can increase or decrease the position or start a new position. So that's why these methods here are I put like these symbols here because it's just the same of a spot connector, but the only difference is that the position action is not included when you are sending. You don't have to add the position action where you are sending a spot market or a spot order, but here yes, it's necessary because you have to say if this order is to open a new position or if this open order is to close one of the positions that you already have in the market. So well, that's me. And when you want to cancel, you just need the order ID, so that's not an issue. So well, this is the most like a high level of which are the things that you are going to use of a perpetuals connector. And then we have some things that I found when I was using some of the connectors. Right now I'm building a script that will let you is like a directional strategy. Then I can show you which are the things that this script is doing, but mainly is receiving a signal and based on the value of the signal, placing a long or a short position and control the stop loss and the take profit inside the bot for each signal that is receiving. So it's a little bit complex, that part, because I am like making independent the position. When you, for example, send an order to open a position, for example, a long position, and then you send another order to open a position, a long position, it won't create two orders or two positions in the market. It will join the two orders in the same position. So in this case, what I'm building is like make all the signals independent and control like in a small position in your control a small position in your for each signal that you receive. So well, one of the things that I found here that are things to discuss with the community, what do you think about this, is are the following. When you run the stop command, the bot doesn't close the position. So that's one of the things that I found when I was working on it. It's like it cancels all the orders, but it's not closing the open positions that you have in the market that you are trading. So probably when you start trading, something happens and you want to stop because there is an issue in the market, well, the bot is not closing the position. This is one of the things that I found. Solutions for this is to add that to the stop command or to create a new method, like a helper method in one strategy that shows you how to exit all the positions and then run the stop command inside your strategy. Well, then another thing that I found is that the take profit and stop loss orders are not implemented. This is not like I'm not a detective. I already know this, but this is another thing to discuss. Do you think that we should implement the take profit and stop loss orders? And the last thing that I found is that the positions are not updated in real time. Only they are updated with events and rest endpoints. So this for me is an issue when you are trying to check this property that is the unrealized PNL, because this unrealized PNL will show you the unrealized PNL of the last message that you received, for example. So I think that this property has to be calculated with the entry price and the current price that is in the market. So that will be real time updates of the unrealized PNL. So well, that's the things that I found. I would like to know what you think about this stuff. What do you think about the perpetuals connectors? if you have another questions that I can answer, or if you want to add another things to discuss here. But well, I will wait until, I don't know if Carlito, I don't know if the chat of YouTube is available, or next time, sorry. So well, that's all. And now I would like to know what do you think about these items. What do you think, or you have another question about Perpetual connectors? I wonder if it will be easier, less potentially confusing, if we add close method to explicitly close positions, since we have the ID anyway. So we can do close ID. Okay, I think that could be a good improvement, soothsayer. So we have to figure out how to how the ID, which would be that ID, probably the position ID or something like that. Should be something like that. Normally the position don't have the, but we can just, I think that we can just create a method that is close, serve that close, and trading pair, and that would be all. Because if we are closing trading pair, the site that you want to close, probably that would be, I think, enough. But well, we can review it. We the next thing to do that, I think, that will be to create, if you want to do it, you can create a post in, well, now I don't know the name, right, proposal discussions. You can create a post on proposal discussions, and then we can talk about that in that thread. The next one is, Fede, can you mention? Yeah, well, there is a new discussion that we have in the proposals right now, that is Hummingbot approach to connectors, and well, that's to remove, for example, the issues that we have with FTX. And right now we have a lot of like people that is asking us, or what will we think about the exchanges, what do we think about the crypto market. And well, one of the things that we realized when we were looking at all the information that we receive and all the questions that we receive is that we have a lot of connectors in our code base, and probably our users are exposed to some connectors that we don't really know if we can trust on them. So one of the solutions that we propose is to create 3 tiers of connectors that will be gold, silver, and bronze connectors, and those tiers will be defined or voted by the community. The main idea is that the community can trust in the connectors that are in the gold and the silver tier, and the community also will know that the connectors are in the bronze tier are connectors that we don't really maintain. They are like community connectors, and we are not encouraging the people to use those connectors. So the idea is to make a vote every 3 months with all the community and select which are the connectors that we want to tag as gold, which are the connectors as silver, and which are the connectors that we want to tag as bronze. The idea of the gold connectors is that the gold connectors are going to be maintained by ourselves. Probably I will be the one that will be coding or fixing the connectors that are gold. Fauci will be do the same for the gateway connectors that are gold. The silver connectors are going to be fixed by community members based on bounties that we are going to offer. And then the bronze connectors are going to be maintained by the community, but we are not going to we are not going to ask them to fix it or all that stuff. Can be founded, but well, that's the approach that we have with that. I don't know, Mike, if we want to add anything else, but well, that would be the thing. Then another question is from Mac Gaines. Each buy sell order has its own ID, right? Could manage each other position that way? Well, the thing here, I was working with this the last week with the directional strategy, and the big thing here is that when you send an order, that order has an order ID. Yeah. So you send an order, for example, a limit order. That limit order can be filled with one trade or multiple trades based on the amount of your order. But you have that order, and you have that order that is open with that specific amount. So when you open an order with that specific amount, you will have that that position. The position will be created with the amount of your order. So, Sutsayer, but based on what you are saying, I simplified that stuff just with the average executed amount. So for an order, we can have the average executed amount of that order. That will be the average of amount and the average of price of all the trades that are inside that order. So we can call that order like a mini position, or I don't know the name, but that will be like a mini position. I want to enter at this price. So that order will increase the position. And now, for example, if I bought one Ethereum, now I'll have a position of one Ethereum to go down. If I open another order, now the position will be 2 Ethereum, and I cannot understand which is the owner of all of that big position. So that's why I created like an object that is called signal executor. That signal executor receives the information of what it has to do. For example, enter in this price, take profit will be this percentage, and stop loss will be this percentage, and it gets the order. It creates the first order and then controls the execution of all the other things. It's a little bit complex to explain you like this, but I will create a video soon to show you how this works. But that's one of the things that we have to solve and make it easier to use for the community, because right now it's a little bit difficult to create a strategy with perpetuals to make independent the positions or the orders that you want to use. So, well, Mac Gaines also said, also maybe I asked before, but is there any tutorial how Market Avellaneda works? It's not working with, he also Mike's answer. He's not working Avellaneda with perpetuals, but you can create a script to adapt it. Soothsayer says, yes, but you can tag some things to the end. For partial fills, I don't understand that, Soothsayer. Can you... If you have... This is one of the things that I would like to say here. If you have some mechanics that you want to present about how would you like to manage the perpetuals orders on the perpetuals positions, all that stuff, I would like to know. So to know if you already are using some kind of mechanics to make it easier. and we can try to adapt that to Hummingbot. Memento says, would we want to have a transition from strategies to scripts? Well, Memento, that's a good question because, yeah, we want to move from strategies to scripts, or to create more examples of scripts, because the people the people that wants to start building things with Hummingbot and they are trying to create the strategies, they have a high barrier to start coding. They don't know where to start, how the config map works, and all that stuff. So the easiest way to get started is with the scripts, and has the same power of the strategies. The only thing that they are in Python right now, but then if they like the strategy, they can upgrade the script to create a strategy to make it configurable. For me, I would prefer to start using more the scripts and improve the scripts than use the strategies. Well, there McGaines also said correct. It will be average the whole position with each other order, right? But intentionally, each added order could be managed as their own order amounts P&L, for example. Yeah, McGaines. Well, that's exactly what I was trying to do the last week, to create a thing that manage the position like independent from the other one. So that's one of the things that I am doing. So also Soothsayer says, I think it might be useful to have two types of ID, an open position ID versus filled ID. For example, if you want to do an auto trading stop, 5% for a particular order. Especially useful if you place a large order as market order and you get multiple fields. Okay. Yeah, Sutsayer, I agree with you. That's why I was doing this. Let me show you quickly this how I'm building this stuff. This is just a draft. So terminal. Directional strategy. In this case, well, in this case, what I am doing is just getting a signal. In this case, I create this fake signal. That this will be something that will come from the outside, and this signal will be managed by the signal executor that will receive the information of the signal. This will be like the ID that you are mentioned. This is like, hey, the ID of this position is 420. Then the timestamp of the signal, the value. This is because if the signal is from -1 to 1, is the range of the signal. Then the trading pair and the exchange. And this is the position config. This has the information of the amount, the price, the order type, the time limit, and the take profit and stop loss. I don't only use stop loss and take profit, I also added the time limit based on the literature of Marcos Lopez de Prado. So if I run this strategy, let me open now Binance testnet. So if now I open this stuff, let me show you. Okay. So now I have 0 positions and 0 opens here. So if I run this strategy, you will see. Let me open this strategy better in the terminal, because here is not so terminal. check this. Start, script, and directional strategy. So as you can see here, when I start the strategy, the first thing that it's doing is getting the signal. When it gets the signal, it will try to open the position. The time limit is here. This is, for example, 120 seconds. This is a stop loss and the current price and the take profit. So if you check the market has this position, open order, and it's checking the market. Right now, I am only allowing this to have one order at the same time in the same trading pair. And once this time limit gets executed, well, in this case is very... Yes, the time limit is when there are three barriers in the position. It's like you can open the position and you will control the position. If the time limit, if the position will be valid, because this is more thing like you receive a signal. The signal is valid for 2 minutes. If 2 minutes are, if you don't hit the take profit and the stop loss in 2 minutes, the position has to be closed. Can be 2 minutes, can be 1 hour, or whatever you want. So what is this doing is like you receive a signal with a time limit, with a stop loss, and with a take profit. You create the three barriers. The take profit barrier will be a limit order. The time limit barrier will be a market order at the end of the cycle, or the time limit that you define for the signal. And the stop loss will be a market order when this price is very close to the stop loss. So this is independent for all the different logic that we are managing in the bot. You can have multiple of these executors running at the same time in the same strategy. This is one of the things that I would like to introduce as smart components in Hummingbot. But well, right now, as you can see, the time limit is reached, and you will see that the order closing position by time limit and is getting a new signal and is starting a new position with a new signal. So it's like it's a component that is managing all the information by itself, and it will have it logs you if it's closed by stop loss or time limit, all that stuff, and it receives the new signal. So it's like this ID will be the position ID that you were mentioned before, and here inside this signal executor we have the take profit, we have the stop loss order, and the open order. We have those three orders. Open order, the one that opens the position. Close or exit order, the one that closed that mini position. And, well, the information about the take profit order and that stuff. So I think that we can make something in the middle between what you want to do and this. This is just a draft. I built it this week. So this is just a draft. Well, the idea is to create something that works for everyone. Well, I don't know. Well, I think that was a Memento is asking. I heard executors like async rank in executor in this case. No, it's not like that. It's all running synchronously, Memento, right now. For me, the best thing will be to make this process like a task, an async task that is controlling the execution. But no. The thing is that this has to be simple. The goal that we have here in Hummingbot is to make things that works, that accomplish the needs of the users, but can be simple for a new user that wants to use that feature. So we have to make a balance between the best solution and the worst solution with the friendly interface. So we had to find a point in the middle that accomplished the two things. That is a good solution and also is easy to use by another developers that wants to, or another traders that are starting with coding and they want to learn how to do things. Right now it's using the same clock of the strategy, the executor. Soothsayer X is writing. Will be helpful to have multiple signal types, but each type to correspond only one filter, so you can have a timeout signal, a stop loss signal, a take profit signal, and each signal can potentially share metadata about other signals that are monitoring the same trade. So when one signal is triggered for that field order, whether to cancel other signals for the order. Multiple signal types. The thing is how you are going to correlate the signal. For me, it's like the signal. Well, for me, it's the signal is like an is a packet of information that says, "Hey, I want to open." Sorry. I want to open a position in this market. Well, can be, You you said that we can create different types of signals. The only difference is that, for example, the signal normally when you are entering a position, you are going to say, "Hey, I want to enter in this position with a take profit of 5% and stop loss of 2% or something like that." So that would be a complete signal or something like that the executor has to control the complete signal. Because if not, how you are going to know if you are, already placed the position or not, if the position is open and all that stuff. Well, I think that this can be we are not going to solve this right now. This can be a post in the proposal discussions, and we can talk about this with more information about the design. But I think that yeah, we can absolutely start working with that. For example, one use case that I found of what you are saying is if I start a signal like the one that I showed you before that says uh, yeah, if it's the one that is right now that is a take profit stop loss is an auto or time limit signal is you want to buy at this price, and then when you open the order you will get all the fields from that order, and that will be the values that you are going to use for the take profit and for the stop loss. No, because when the order gets executed, you don't have that open order anymore. You will have a position. That open order will have an average executed price and an average amount, an amount executed that you are going to use for the take profit and stop loss, and then to cancel the position. But it will be different. The open order you are not going to have anymore the open order. And if the order doesn't get executed because you define a price, the order will be cancelled when the time limit is met. Daniel said, something I have used in my own signal trade bots was to include the candle close as requirement for the signal to execute. If it wouldn't not match, the signal would be invalidated. Daniel, you mean that the candle close as requirement? What do you think? What do you mean about candle close? Which is the candle that is valid, or I think that what you are saying is very similar to the time limit. Soothsayer, the open order will have an already has the auto cancel, because the time limit also cancels the open order if 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 the time limit is met. Many signals are dependent on a specific candle close, right? This is more at the start, not at the end. Yeah. Sorry, maybe I didn't explain how was thinking this system. This system was more thinking by Hummingbot is used as a machine, as a bot that receives signal from the outside. We have another service from the outside that is sending signals, and there you have all the logic to say, hey, I want to place this order with this price and this amount and that stuff. And then Hummingbot receives the signal and executes and controls the signal until it reaches the time limit, the take profit, and the order stop loss. Soothsayer says, yes, but it will be partially filled by the time auto cancel is. Okay. Yes, but that is one of the things that I forget. I forgot to manage the partial fill with the open order. The thing is that we should auto cancel the open order with the time limit too, and the stop loss and take profit is the values of that are managed by the execution that you have already, the amount of the trades for that specific order. But yeah, I know what you mean. Daniel, that's why the signal, I don't know if you see, but the signal comes with a timestamp. This is why what I was this hard coded just to test, but this timestamp is a timestamp when the signal was generated. So if you generate a signal, like I don't know, 1 hour ago, and the bot receives a signal of 1 hour ago, it will know that it's not valid because the timestamp plus the time limit will say that it's not valid signal. So maybe it's different, but the difference is that you are talking about the candle close and the time. I think that is the time of the candle close. I'm here using the timestamp when the strategy that you have from the outside creates this signal. What do you mean about candle close? Let me see, because maybe I don't understand what you're. What would be the candle close? Or can you send a screenshot of an example? In this case, which a close. You mean the price? So you want to just send the price of the last candle? So you mean that you want to send the last price, the close price of the candle? From my point of view, that's not a good way to send the signal because it's just the price. You can send the this this signal also has the price, but that would be the price of the execution. It's more efficient if you send the timestamp that you are generating the signal than sending the price at that moment because the price can be different of different exchanges or when you receive the signal. It's like you have to create an ID for me for the signal and the timestamp where you created the signal. Because if not, you are just reducing the signals to be just signals of candlesticks or trading view. You can create signals from Twitter, from Google Trends, or whatever you want. Uh, yes. Well, the next thing, because we can discuss this like for a long time, the next thing that we can do is to start a discussion on the proposals and start thinking about this system. Uh, about the internet lag, that's why you have a timestamp and a time limit. It's like this signal is generated now and will be valid for, I don't know, 5 minutes. So if the execution exceeds those limits, then the signal is not valid. If you have internet lag, you don't want to execute a signal with internet lag. That's also why you shouldn't do that. Why? We can discuss. We can continue to discuss this in a proposal discussions. I think that these kind of discussions are the ones that will increase and improve our code base and will make that the community is comfortable with what we are doing. And so say, I agree. I agree with your idea of creating more signals. For example, you can have multiple positions or multiple mini executors running at the same time, and suddenly you receive a signal of cancel all positions or something like that, and the bot will have to stop all the executors and cancel all the signals, something like that. That's why I understand, right? But yeah, I agree. We can extend this and create a directional framework that can be very very complex. But well, in this case, I tried to make it simple. Just manage one case that you are receiving a signal that says buy or sell, placing the order to open a long or a short position, and then control if the time is met or if it reaches the take profit or if had to trigger the stop loss. That's like the simplest use case that we have right now. But well, the next thing that I will do is to create a thread on proposal discussions, and you can start commenting there. We can start commenting there to what we want to do about this, how we are going to manage. Then the next thing will be to add a plugin, probably with the MQTT broker, that the branch is already available to test, or we can create a server, a REST server or something like that, to make the connection between the module that will be creating the signals and Hummingbot, and that will be very easy. The thing is that if all this complexity is coded inside Hummingbot, and that's why you are saying, Daniel, I think, and that's why I thought about this too, because I have all the code inside Hummingbot right now. And if I only create a signal from the outside, and the bot and the signal only contains the time, the value of the signal, the trading pair, the exchange, and the configuration of the position, then you don't have to do anything. Hummingbot will do all for you. So that's why I think that this can be a little bit powerful for new users too. So well guys, I think that this is all for today. We make a long call, but well, I think that was good because we discussed a lot of things. So Hummingbot is that's one of the ideas of this directional strategy, is a base of operations. Exactly, it's like you send information to Hummingbot and Hummingbot will do the rest for you. You just say, I want to execute this until this price, and this time, and that will be doing that. Hummingbot will be doing all for you. So I hope that this idea gets better, or other people can start working on it. Probably what I can do is to create a branch, and anyone can start reviewing the code and adding some suggestions, or creating some PRs to improve the code too. So for me, I think that that's all. See you next. I hope that you like this mini lesson stuff. There are some things that we didn't discuss, but I can add them to the thread. These are the when you stop the bot, that these orders are not implemented, and the positions are not updated in real time. So we can discuss that in the discussions too. The next week we're going to have another mini lesson. And if you have any suggestions about the format, also let us know. And I hope that this was useful for you to understand how the connectors work at high level, and which are the things that we can do with Perpetual connectors. So I will cut off the stream right now.